All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show. Welcome to this episode of Off the Tools. I'm delighted to have a brilliant guest today. I'm sure you guys have already heard of him, but the ones that haven't, this guy is an amazing man from what I know of him, very, very astute in business, and I think you're really going to enjoy this show. And that is with Tommy Lee-Zmuda. Hello, Tommy.
Yo, dude. Nice to finally get this chat on the road.
Yes, definitely. We've been trying to get this done for a couple of months, but our diaries just haven't aligned, have they? But we're here. We're doing it. That's the main thing. We've got there in the end. Right. So just to introduce you to our listeners, because some of them may not know who you are, can you just give us a little bit of a background on your early part of your life, please?
Early part of my life. Right, let's go. As a kid, I always was trying to make some money. Always. I think that's partly to do with, get your violin out, get your violin. My parents weren't very wealthy, so, my pocket money was pretty non-existent. So I had to get out and graft and earn some money. Won't go into it too much, but finding golf balls at the local, I'm sure there would be other people that used to do this. You go and find the golf balls as a young kid, and you sell them back to the people coming around the golf course. And at the time, this is going back 1990 maybe, and you find a golf ball and sell it for 10 pence. So if you could find 10 golf balls, 20 golf balls, 25 golf balls on a really good day, wow, I can afford some pop, a chocolate bar, and save some money to go to a karate lesson on a Thursday night. I was paying for my own karate lessons at the age of 10, because wow. This was the day of Karate Kid, 1990. Every movie that came out was a ninja movie or something. So that's what always had me that it's up to me. It's up to me to make the money. That's 10 years old in 1990, which puts me in a perfect position to be a teenager in the 90s. And all I can say is there was a certain lifestyle that went with being a teenager in the 90s. I
was just on the other side of it, unfortunately, but I saw a bit of it.
Yeah, them eras sort of mingled together, but definitely, that 90s lifestyle, club culture, when people talk about disco in the 70s or talk about 80s music, mid-90s and early 90s rave music was cool. And I guess Gatecrasher came along as well. Being it's still with me, Wayne? Yeah. Being a Sheffield lad, we had Gatecrasher right on the doorstep. So as being from Sheffield, in the 90s we had Gatecrasher, and the scene that came with Gatecrasher, that was right on my doorstep. And this, as a teenager, is really what guided me on what what I wanted to do. The parenting was pretty much non-existent, so I didn't have a good role model to set me on the right path. My grandfather actually recommended when I only just passed all my GCSEs. My grandfather came up with the idea that I should go and learn to be a mechanic, because I'll be able to fix my own cars and save money. What? How did he come up with that? That's real old school.
I do think that's a bit of a mindset of that generation, isn't it? Is that getting just a practical skill that can help you was sort of just seen as the only option, wasn't it? I suppose so.
Yeah, because going back to my grandfather's era, it wasn't a case of everyone went to university just for a laugh to get on lash for 3 years and then get into stupid debt and get a certificate out of it. In his day, it's you finish school when you're 15, I think. Mm-hmm. Finish school at 15 and you're straight into the factory earning some money to pay back to your mother, because everyone lived in the same house. It weren't a case of go off and get an apartment in the city centre. Yeah. Everyone had to. It was poor, weren't it? It was poor. Yeah. In the 40s and 50s after the war. So that's my grandfather basically telling me to get a trade. I think that's what he was saying. Yeah. Get a trade, but I didn't listen because I was a rogue. I was a rogue, and Gatecrasher was just down the road.
The music drew you.
Oh yeah. So for a good number of years, basically, I just bummed around. Didn't really get up to much. Did a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done, and that led me on to doing some sort of college courses to do with music technology and sound engineering, music business as well. I think one of the first books I actually read was How to Succeed in the Music Business. Music business. I've got two things going on there, and I then this is taking me up to my early 20s. I went to Nottingham to study music technology. I did 2 years HND. It's just shy of a degree, not quite a degree. If I carried on, I would have been able to put some fancy letters at the end of my name that says I'm clever, but I didn't. I looked at that final year and I thought, no way am I setting up microphones in cathedrals and writing an essay on it. No way. Let's get back out and then earn some money again.
Yep.
I then ended up running a record shop. Now, this is when, back to the music, all that head candy stuff started kicking off around this point. I'd started DJing myself in the local clubs.
Can I just quickly jump in there, mate?
Sure. Yeah.
For our younger listeners, a record shop, there used to be shops on the high street that sold records, physical things you could go and buy. I just thought I'd point that out because I know a lot of the younger guys probably haven't seen a record shop. So, so carry on. I just wanted to throw that in. Sorry.
Go easy on them, mate. I was about when you used to go to Blockbuster and not get a DVD. You used to get a VHS tape recorder and cassettes. Remember cassettes? You put them in a Walkman.
Sony Walkmans. Oh, yeah. My childhood grew up with a Sony Walkman in my pocket, definitely.
So unfortunately, I got the first wave of digital really coming in, where vinyl record industry was basically on its arse. People were buying vinyl, but then downloading MP3s started coming through, and what we could see was, that business was going to come to an end. What I could see at the time, 2005, 2006, is all the people that were coming into the record shop and spending, serious money. Younger lads, mid-20s, late 20s, okay, coming in. They've been out on Friday night, been out on town on Friday night. They've been shopping in the morning, got their hair done. They're walking into the record shop with their hands already full of stuff that they've bought so that they can go out again on Saturday night. They're putting down £100 on buying more records, and this is like a weekly weekly event, and then they're going back out on Saturday night. And I was like in the central hub of all this happening in Sheffield in a very popular vinyl record shop. And I could see all this, and I thought, you know what's the common thing that all these guys are doing? They're all tradesmen. They're all tradesmen. They're plasterers, joiners, sparkies, aircon guys. There were no plumbers, oddly enough, and I can't remember any
We're always
plumbers.
too busy, aren't we?
Always on a job.
Always too busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
on that point, you're leading straight into my next question, which is great. So
you
were noticing that these tradesmen were coming in and spending a lot of dough. So my question is what got you started looking towards a trade as a job, as a business?
Well, when I knew that I was going to be leaving the record shop, I was still a working professional DJ. I was making decent money. You know, the money that I got from running the record shop was pocket change compared to what I was actually earning going out and doing a 3-hour set or a 5-hour set at some of the big local nightclubs. So I had a bit of a fork in the roads when leaving the record shop, when I thought, right, do I keep kind of within the music industry? Do I open another shop? And at the time I was thinking of selling DJ equipment. Okay. And I got the contacts. I could have done that. Or do I do what all these guys are doing? Do I get a trade under my belt and possibly get to the point that I can afford a mortgage and it looks a good life getting a trade. So that was me leaving the record shop in 2006, and I did one of these, I'll say, crash courses, meant to be a crash course. Wait for it. Have you ever heard of a 3-year crash course? Okay,
3 years. So, wow.
3 years. Right. No, it should have been 6 months. Okay, it should have been 6 months, but I'm sure a lot of people that are listening that have done these ACS courses with some of the bigger companies, the companies where you've got to spend £6,000, £7,000 to get on a training course that's going to change your life. Next year, you're going to be on 40 grand. Yeah, I fell for that from that salesman. Oh, I can see his face now, with his claws just hanging out, wanting to get hold of that check.
Yeah.
And they'd sell you anything to get that 6 or 7 grand. And what I thought, so that typical ACS route where the salesman for these big sales for these big training companies will say, come and learn to be a gas engineer, come and learn to be a sparky. We'll have you qualified within 6 months. You'll be earning 40 grand next year. It's only going to cost you £5,000, £6,000, £7,000. Yeah, I fell for that. £7,000 was my course in 2006 to become, wait for it, a multi-skilled gas engineer. Yeah.
Right, multi-skilled
not a gas engineer, a multi-skilled. Yeah. And back in the time, it was Corgi. It weren't gas safe. Right? It was Corgi. And I can remember seeing these logos in the fancy, brochure that were Corgi gas, Corgi water, Corgi electrics, and I thought, I'm going to be some superhero. Yeah, I'm going to get all these qualifications. I'm going to wear them with pride across my t-shirt. I'm going to go out and save people. And the reality of it is the salesmen, they know what they're doing to get the money off you, basically. They're selling you this dream that you're going to be earning a lot of money next year.
Yeah.
Part of what they do a lot of the time is offer you guaranteed work placement. Okay. Where in order to do this fast track course of 6 months, you need to do a certain amount of work placement, and they'll have hookups with small businesses and big businesses across the UK where they send you out to basically be a gopher, go to the van and get that, hold this, take that pipe out, hang radiators. Absolutely, this was my experience. Absolutely bugger all to do with being a gas engineer, but I needed I needed the experience of being a gas engineer in order to get in for my exams. But they were just using me as...
Yeah, it basically was a tick. It let you tick the box to say that you had been on site, in essence.
I'd been on site, but I knew I was learning bugger all.
Yeah.
So he was a real changing point in my life. March 2007, I went on a plane to Poland with a friend of mine. It was his stag do. He was a gas engineer in Manchester. All the lads on that plane with him, they were all gas engineers and plumbers from various little subsections. Okay, so there were about 8 people. 3 of them basically said, right, you're struggling to get the correct experience. Why don't you come over to Manchester and get the experience with us?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. 3
nice
years,
of
mate.
events.
Yeah, it was a great turn of events. But this is how all the timing happening. I put my £7,000 down. What then went on to be the start of the crash.
Yeah.
Okay. 2007, things started turning ugly. 2008, things were really, really bad. And, there were no jobs out there, and there definitely were no jobs out there for a non-qualified plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd not got my certificates. So again, it was back to DJing at night, still making money, and then going out in the day where I can, still building up the experience. By this point, starting to get paid for plumbing work. For instance, installing a full central heating system, and then my mate, the gas engineer, coming in and commissioning up the boiler. Yeah. So that's how I got along for 3 years until I got qualified in 2009. But then, I'm sure a lot of your listeners will nod their head. Just because you get your qualification and get your paperwork doesn't mean that your phone's going to be ringing.
Well, that's just the start of it. Start of it, getting that qualification, isn't it?
Yeah, and them salespeople that are taking the 6 or 7 grand off you, they don't tell you about that. Yeah,
no, I bet they don't.
Yeah.
So that takes us up to sort of you getting qualified. What was the next stage? Was it your plan straight away to go, I'm qualified, I've got some experience, that's it, I'm going out on my own and I'm going to take over Sheffield? Or was it sort of thrust upon you because of the situation in the economy and things like that?
Well, we've got 2 things to think about here. Is one, I never had a long-term stable job. At this point, when I'm become qualified at the age of 29, I'd never had a long-term job working for someone. I'd always hustled. If you want to say DJing at night, it's a bit hustling. I can
imagine.
I didn't have a job. Yeah, or hustling. I was a vinyl dealer, mate. I was hustling. that famous film, that rave film, where there's him behind the counter, just hustling people for vinyl records. You know which one I mean? Yeah, it's awesome film. So I was just hustling all the way up to getting qualified. Once I got qualified, there was still no work out there for me. No one came and banged on my door and said, "Here, I've heard that you've just been qualified as a gas engineer. We need you." They didn't do that. So I had to basically, if you think of like a crosshairs of still having my DJ income coming in and then building up my plumbing revenue for another 3 years. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, even 4 years possibly. It was 2012 summer 2012 that things really started to change for me, and that's basically when I decided stop thinking about getting other qualifications and start thinking about getting customers. You have enough qualifications, you have enough experience, learn to make money with what you've got rather than the next big thing. Green Deal, for instance, Green Deal. And I got suckered in that. That cost a couple of grand.
I did exactly the same, and I never saw anything back from it. So The big shiny object over there always attracts, doesn't it?
So yeah, that takes me up really until 2012 when it really started to ramp up, and I got that busy. That busy, Wayne. Hey, got
it
that
sounds
busy.
So much better in your accent than it does. With
that busy.
I love that video you did with is it Andy Cam?
Andy Cam, yeah.
That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Sorry,
I think we'd like to do some more once we get out of the busy peak season. Me and Andy will hook up and we'll do some more of that busies.
I love that.
But that way, our rate busy, mate. Our rate busy. So we had to get staff. 2013 started the company. Okay, company, not sole trader. Company.
Tommy, the business owner.
yeah, and my wife joined me. She'd just been made redundant. A lad that had basically taken off the off the dole queue. He'd been helping me out. Yes, he'd been helping me out. So we gave him a proper job. My friend Chris had basically wanted to get out of B&Q, okay, and there's me who's been qualified for 3 years. So the four of us, we're not a lot of experience, definitely not of business, and not a lot of experience in the heating industry. It was all on me. Set about taking over Sheffield.
So threw yourself into the deep end then, by the sounds of it.
Oh yeah. To go from sole trader to 4 people in the matter of 9 months was a big jump. I don't regret it. Everything that's happened on my journey and on other people's journey, it's got you to where you are now. And that wording of if I knew then what I know now, well, yeah. 100%. Unfortunately, some people know stuff before you, unfortunately. And it's just taking you this long to get to that point that you now know it. Yeah. So yeah, then that takes us up to 2013, the start of Hallamshire Energy. And what I can say from the last 5 years, there's been a lot of staff. We've kept some staff for a long period of time, but the staff, trainees, ACS trainees, people that are on quick courses, apprentices. I think I can proudly say that the company, and it's not all on me. I'm just a team member. The company has started a career of, I don't know, maybe 10 people if we was to count. There were 5. There were 5 trainees in the last 2 years. So yeah.
Hats off to you, because a lot of people don't bother with apprentices and training people. So I've been fortunate enough to train a fair few people, and it's a real good sense of achievement when you've seen someone go from entering the trade, whether they're 16. I've trained a mixture of people from school leavers to 45 ex-army veterans, and there's nothing more rewarding than seeing them develop, some quicker than others, and some not at all, unfortunately. But it is a real sense of achievement and pride when you see these people become fully fledged engineers that can do jobs and stuff. So I really support apprentices and apprenticeships, and I wish more was done by the government to help companies like yourself to be able to give that opportunity to others.
I will say this about the government and apprentices. The government's not helping apprentices. No. Now we can't talk about it too much on this interview, but they're really not helping small businesses give opportunities to apprentices. We've got to change how my business operates because of no support from the government. The ACS route, for the older person, much easier. Much easier.
Definitely. So sorry, we went on a little side tangent there, didn't we?
We did.
So we're currently you're employing people. You've had trainees go through your company and become engineers. where was this all heading? What was you achieving at this time? And yeah, what was going
okay,
on?
so over the previous 5 years, because things are changing for my business out of choice.
Yeah.
But over the last 5 years, it's been about building a business, sacrificing some things, personal gain for building a business with a long-term plan that I will reap the rewards in the future. Where I'm at now is with more knowledge because of the journey that I've been on for the last 5 years and the last 3 years of business development. Where I'm at now, my little boy's 3 years old.
Yeah.
As a family, we don't want him to be an only kid. Nothing wrong with that. I've got quite a few friends that have got one child, but I want him to have a little brother or a little sister.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the business, and I know everything that we've been through for the last 5 years, and I know what me and my wife has been through in the first child, and I'm starting to look forward and think, right then, well, if we want another child in 2 years' time, what are we going to do with the business? Because when you're running your own business, that's one thing. When you've got staff and team, that's another thing. When you've got, in my case, hundreds and hundreds of customers, that's another thing. So there's this triangle. I always refer back to the triangle of trying to keep your team and staff happy, trying to keep your customers happy, but more importantly, it's trying to keep your own family happy. And we're just looking forward to having another child and thinking, maybe there's a different way of doing this. Nothing wrong with what we've done, but going forward, we just want to change things.
When I've built my first business, we had 2 young children, and I didn't equal the attention. I was so business focused. It nearly ruined me, in all aspects. So the fact that you're aware of it is a very good thing, because it means you can start to plan and be strategic in what you try to create. So hats off to you there.
Absolutely. It's looking to the future and thinking, well, and I talk a lot about happiness, okay? And in business, is two things that people mostly want, and they want them in different proportions, okay? Some people just want maximum money. Some people want maximum time. But everybody else sort of is somewhere in the middle, maybe to one side or to the other. Very rare that a business owner sits right slap bang in the middle and they want the average amount of money for the average amount of time invested. Otherwise, they've probably got a job. Most people say, I want more money or I want more time. And that's the reason why they've gone into business. And all that I'm doing is looking forward and thinking. So what I've figured out, and I talk about this quite a lot in business, and particularly when you start getting staff, there's a triangle. Okay? There's a triangle of happiness where on one side you've got your staff and your team that you want to keep happy. And then you've got your customers. Obviously, you want to keep your customers happy, but the more staff you have, the more customers you need to keep happy. But the most important part of the triangle is yourself and your own family. And in a nutshell, what I'm looking at, what I've achieved in the last 5 years, and I'm looking towards the next 5 years and having another child. And I'm just thinking, I don't want hundreds and hundreds more customers and the responsibility that comes with hundreds and hundreds more customers. I don't really want the responsibility of lots more staff.
Yeah.
What I want is, and this is the root to everything. What I want is another kid. Yeah. I want another kid. And what am I going to do for my family to help support my wife? Not just financial. can I bring in 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand a month, whatever it is? It's can I be at home to help her out? And that's what's driving me at the moment.
Excellent. So what are you going to do? How are you going to start well, it sounds like you already are, create this lifestyle style business. And just quickly before we go on to that, everybody's aspirations are different. What you just laid out there to me, correct me if I'm wrong, is you want a lifestyle business. You want to have the choice to be spending time at home with your family. You want to have more choice in your life. And one of the things that's going to help you get there will be your boiler business, but not by employing 10 engineers and having thousands of customers, because as you pointed out, that brings a whole different world of headache. But I just wanted to make the point that you see a lot on these communities. Some people, that's what they want. Some people want to do as little as possible and maximize profits. There is no right or wrong answer to this. It's all down to yourself knowing what you want. If you don't know what you want, you're just going round and round, and it's refreshing to hear someone that knows the ideal life that they want. So if you could crack on with what what your plans are to cement this lifestyle business that you want to do.
So in a nutshell, it's taken, going back to if I knew then what I know now, okay, it's taken the last 5 years of running a company with numerous staff and hundreds of customers. It's taken all this learning to get to this point that I can look at the numbers. I'm a numbers man. I keep a tight eye on everything that's happening in the business, not necessarily from the financial point of view, but marketing. And I can just run the numbers and do the calculations and know, the money that we command now, what we can charge for customers in our local area, our target customer in our target local area, will pay handsomely. They will pay handsomely for good quality work, but more importantly, for a high standard of customer service. They're not necessarily looking for the best gas engineer in Sheffield. They're looking for a company that's going to look after them and do exactly what it is that they said that we're going to do at the price that they said they're going to do it. So back to the lifestyle business, I'm looking at what I can do certainly over the next couple of years, and I'm thinking I want to be in Poland with my family in the warmer months, in the summer months. Spending quality time with my family, spending quality time watching my son grow up in a nice hot country in the summer. Yes, it's going to be cold when I go there at Christmas, but in the summer, May, it's 25 degrees when you wake up.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just presumed Poland was cold. Really.
No, it's a beautiful country. So until my son goes to school, my first son, only son at the moment, until our son goes to school, I've basically got 2 summers ahead of me where I want to try this lifestyle business. That book, 4-Hour Work Week, has got me started on it, and I think surely I can be in another country for 3 or 4 months with my feet up when business is slow. And just for anybody that doesn't know much about me at the moment, we're a boiler installation company. That's all that we do. We install boilers, not plumbing and heating engineers. We're not gas engineers. We're a boiler installation company. So in the summer months, obviously, business slows down for us. So I'm just looking at the facts and figures and thinking, well, why stick around in here scratching at it? Spending 20, 30 quid every time you go to the supermarket to buy your tea and a bottle of wine when I could be in Poland spending far less money enjoying life more, and then come back to the business in September, and it's peak season.
Yeah,
so that's what I want to do for the next couple of years. Maybe after that, maybe once my son's at school, things are a little bit more settled. Maybe the plan will change, but for now, it's I know what I want, and that's what I'm going for.
Excellent. So, obviously, you're very active online. You've got your Facebook group, which is a brilliant community. What's the plan with this? I noticed that you're doing some work with Ideal coming up into the new year. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about what's going on with that side of your life?
Yeah, certainly. So my business was already doing pretty well before I got into business development. Got the Audible app and started listening to all these books, and I got business coaches, and the good thing that came out of having staff is I had the time to invest in myself personally, and look at my business in such fine detail. And what I've taken from that is I looked at our industry. I looked at plumbing and heating guys, gas engineers, plumbers, and I thought, maybe I can help these people in the future. So I approached Ideal Boilers some time ago. It's been a slow process. That's got to be said. It has been a slow process, but the training dates are looking to start early in the new year. So that's all I can say at the moment. Keep an eye on if you do install Ideal Boilers, keep an eye on stuff that's going to be flying around on their social media, and try to get booked on.
It's excellent. I'm such a firm believer in education and learning constantly. I was at the hospital yesterday, and I was learning there. I had my earphones in. I was listening to an Audible book. I'm constantly trying to get more information and then utilize that information somewhere else. And the fact that you're doing training and things like that, it's similar to, it's an area of business that I'm interested in, but I believe as an industry, it is much needed. I think if people's mindset could be a bit more open to the fact that they can learn more business side of things, it's being a plumber or heating engineer, boiler, whatever you want to call it. It's only 20% of it is being good at your job. 80% is everything else, from marketing, sales, customer journey. I just really think the more people that open their mind to training events like what you're doing and things like your Facebook group and my Facebook group, Off the Tools, I think it can only lead to a better industry and ultimately better earnings for us as people, because if we can stand out as a tradesman, we're going to attract more and more clients, which then lets us be in a position where we can up our prices and be more selective. So any guys interested in training and stuff, definitely check out Tommy's group, which is the Boiler Business. Obviously you guys are already in Off the Tools, which is similar, and check out Tommy's training dates for sure, because knowing from what I know of Tommy, we speak quite regularly. I'm going to hopefully try and get on it. I'd love to come up and see how you deliver it. It's going to be a good day,
I'm sure we will find a seat for
a back seat in the corner somewhere. We're getting towards our time limit at the moment, because I know people don't want it too long. So I'm just going to do a few questions, nice and quick. No real, no depth on these answers. But what would you class as your best bit of advice that you've ever received?
Right. Small story to this. Very wealthy Japanese businessman, who got some sort of wind turbine design company in the UK.
Right.
He bought a big fat pad in the middle of Derbyshire and invited me round to quote. I ended up installing a full central heating system back when things started kicking off for me, we don't do full central heating systems now. But when things kicked off for me, I did. And he watched how I went around business. And I remember towards the back end of the job, he kind of pulled me to one side. Like Mr. Miyagi style. Who was Korean, not Japanese. Let's not, but Mr. Miyagi style, he basically pulled me to one side and said, look, Tom, you don't need to be perfect. Yeah. He says you just need to be good enough.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah. You're right. Because he could see how I was trying to not only do the job to a high standard, but how I was trying to do the business to the highest standard. My customer service was to the highest standard. And he basically said he just needs to be good enough. And this is a very wealthy man that's obviously built a business.
Yeah.
For him to just buy this house I know he hardly ever stayed in that house. Right. He just bought it because it got a beautiful view over Derbyshire, basically. So, I listened to him.
I definitely agree with that, because procrastination, it kills so many ideas. Sometimes you do just, as long as it's good enough, you can always get better. If you don't ever put anything out, how can you improve it until you've tried stuff? So it's definitely
version 1. If version 1 is only 40% of what you want to achieve, you're a little bit closer to it.
Yeah, 100%. So the next one is the opposite to that. What would be the worst advice that you've received?
I think I mentioned this earlier.
I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but let's see.
My grandfather's, he said it to my auntie. When I'd got the golden ticket to go back to college, basically, I could walk into college and pick any of the college courses I wanted to do. I thought I was going to fail miserably at all my GCSEs, but no, I flunked them. Okay, and I came out pretty well with my GCSEs. So suddenly, rather than going back and doing my GCSEs, I could go and do a computing course. And my granddad had an argument with my auntie, and he said something along the lines of, if you go and learn to be a mechanic, you can fix your own car, and then you won't have to pay for it. Now, that it still bewilders me, because he was a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
He was intelligent, but come on.
Tommy the mechanic, if he'd listened, eh?
I've got to say, I did have some mini cars at the time, and I were tinkering around with some original minis, 1978 mini. Yeah. But that's for another day.
That's another story. What would another quick question? What would be the best tip you could give someone now? So anybody that's listening, you've got your opportunity to give them one tip only, Tommy. I know you like to talk, so just one. What would it be?
I like to talk. One tip only. Okay. Choose the customers you want to serve, but only in the way you want to serve them. Okay. You've got to find customers that are happy to have it your way, not their way. Yeah.
Bang on. Bang on.
It's a 50-50 arrangement. You want them to want you, but you've got to do it your way, not theirs.
Equal exchange, isn't it? Every transaction in life has to have an equal exchange. Otherwise, some party's not going to be happy one way or the other. And the final question is, how would you identify yourself as? Are you a businessman? Are you a tradesman? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you what would you say?
How many characters can I use?
No, there's no limit on this one, Tommy.
Family man.
Lovely. Yeah.
That's my first set of characters.
Right.
Family man. Boiler installation specialist. Okay.
Yeah.
Boiler business helping chap. Okay.
Lovely.
Comes back to
I think that sums you up perfectly, doesn't it? So you got your priority as a family man, which is great to see. You're passionate about that. You're good at your job, boiler installs, and obviously the newest thing, which is your boiler business, helping others. So that's been excellent, Tommy. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have a chat with me. It's been a pleasure as usual. Whenever we speak, I really enjoy it. You know, I do really enjoy speaking with Tommy. So I think we'll call that the end of the episode. So thank you everyone for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to put it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all three aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, you know, making time for everything in your life. And the 3Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.